Obama, Trump, Rutherford B. Hayes. These are the presidents of the United States. But what if their wives had a documentary? Wouldn't that be something that you'd like to see? Melania, a new film, 20 Days to History. It's a good sign when your movie has two taglines and one of them is a new film. For those of you who don't know, Melania Trump released a vanity project that's about her life between January 1st and January 20th, 2025. That's the 20 days that the tagline refers to. As for the new film tagline, I mean, it's a new film from Brett Ratner. He hasn't made one since he got accused of sexual assault and then immigrated to Israel. Huh. I think this movie was made for the chuds. I don't think any sane person of any political ideology would willingly watch this, which is of course why I went to see this opening night in the theater. It was a really good place to get some alone time. And I went into this movie with an open mind. I like US history. I like learning about government, and I honestly don't know why I was expecting more. I think the concept of having a documentary based around the First Lady is interesting. But they don't do anything interesting with this idea. It's just a Melania Trump vanity project more so than it is propaganda. This isn't a polarizing movie beyond it being about Donald Trump's wife. There's no reason that this movie should exist. It doesn't invoke any message, and it doesn't have a call to action of any kind. I think about something like Sicko, or An Inconvenient Truth, and regardless of what you think about those movies or their political ideologies, they had a call to action. They had a message.
And the United States slipped to 37 in healthcare around the world, just slightly ahead of Slovenia.
They are some of the highest grossing political documentaries ever made. There was also an audience for those movies. The Melania movie has no audience. It's too conservative for liberals. It's too liberal for conservatives. I think it's targeted towards women. But who's gonna go see this in the theater with a group of girlfriends or their spouse when they could just see Mercy? That's right-wing filmmaking. You have Chris Pratt sitting in a chair for 90 minutes. What more could you want?
Hold on, just wait a second.
There was also a Paris Hilton documentary out at this time. And I don't care for Paris Hilton, but I assure you, you will learn more about the US and its culture from that documentary than one about the sitting First Lady. Because the movie is such a nothing burger, you learn nothing. You get nothing from the experience of watching it. The movie is mostly just walking shots. It's mainly composed of walking shots set to popular music, footage of long government procedures, like stuff you'd see on C-SPAN but shot with film cameras. The last third, I think, is mainly just footage of the inauguration but shot with film cameras. And more walking shots. This is where we get the iconic, "Here we go again." There are interviews here and there. They're never interesting, and usually just about inauguration procedure. Other than the one where her assistant talks to a guy on the phone and the guy asks, "Is there anything interesting about the documentary?" Which I think is a funny line to include in the final cut of said documentary. There is music in this movie, and when it's not being used without permission, it's just tone deaf. We open immediately with Gimme Shelter, coupled with walking shots. It's weird when we hear the chorus of the song and it's during a long close-up shot of her face. And if you know the chorus of Gimme Shelter, it just makes for an odd experience going, "Murder, it's just a shot away, it's just a shot away." That's immediately followed by Billie Jean while we're still getting more walking shots. This is the first 5 minutes of the movie and absolutely nothing happens. 40 minutes later, we get to hear Billie Jean again because Melania says it's her favorite song. The Inauguration Day fit is starting to make a little more sense. She's not paying homage to Quaker Oats, she's paying homage to Michael Jackson. Or possibly a cartoon mobster. Everybody Wants to Rule the World also plays. And it's not even the most inappropriate use of music here. No. That's in the form of a Goodfellas reference. Yeah, the mafia crime film Goodfellas, someone decided to pay homage to this long take from that, comparing the president and his wife to the main characters from Goodfellas, while the same song from Goodfellas plays. It cuts multiple times, it's shot very differently, and evokes very different emotions. But hey, you're in a basement, and Then He Kissed Me is playing. Bravo, Ratner. The last third of this movie is nothing but inauguration footage. I mean, maybe there was more, but the edible was really kicking in at this point. At least it's shot on film cameras. There's no point to it. You could have just used archive footage and it would have had the same effect. But A for effort, I guess. I don't know. The last scene I can recall is Ratner and crew are at the White House after the inauguration. You can hear Ratner behind the camera going, "This is so crazy. We're in the White House." And I'm not putting on a voice, that's how he sounds. And you could really read the look on Donald Trump's face during this scene. He's thinking what we're all thinking. This documentary needs to be over. Could talk about Amazon's insane $40 million acquisition deal for this movie. There is something fishy about that. Really doesn't make any sense why they would spend that much money on a documentary like this. Obviously, the movie did not make that money back. I'd like to know where that money went. Maybe it's some form of a tax loophole. I don't know. I just know something is off about that price tag, and that's much more interesting than the movie itself. I should not have to tell you to not see this movie, to not support this filmmaker. If you haven't seen the movie yet and you're just finding out about it, congrats! You are smarter than me because you didn't spend your Friday night alone in a 300-seat theater watching poorly made propaganda. There was also a popcorn bucket, not a joke. There was an official bucket from Regal Cinemas, which might be the first of its kind, being a documentary-based popcorn bucket. And of course I got the popcorn bucket because I love crap.